It's a sunny day in Spain. You're relaxing in your own backyard, having a glass of wine. Life is good. But then, you spot something strange. What you thought was a loose stone seems to be actually a manhole cover, and beneath that, a dark opening. Before you know it, you've found something shocking hidden under your own patio. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to explore a fascinating find from Spain. As archaeologists continue to search the country for remnants of its rich history, they found the world's oldest wine ever. So let's pour ourselves a glass and dive into the details. Back in the summer of 2019, residents of a private home in the Spanish town of Carmona were getting to work on some much-needed renovations. The small town located in the province of Seville is famous for its rich Roman road heritage with over 2,000 years of history. While the town is full of surprises, the homeowners never expected their own backyard to hold one. They had intended to simply renovate the patio. But during the process, they uncovered a surprise no one saw coming: an underground tunnel leading to a chamber. Excited by their chance discovery, they contacted local officials who worked quickly to secure the area and begin research. Within the newly opened chamber, the team discovered a series of burial urns. In total, there were 6 funerary urns, along with a variety of other grave goods, including jewelry and bronze coins. Most of these were crafted from stone, which was common at the time, although one was made of ceramic, and all of them were closed, suggesting that nothing had been disturbed for hundreds of years. However, one stood out from the rest. Not only was it ceramic, but it also contained a strange red-brown liquid. However, one stood out from the rest. Not only was it ceramic, but it also contained a strange red-brown liquid. The burial chamber itself dated back to the Roman period, a fact easily discernible by the artwork carved into the stones. One example of this is a winged goddess believed to be Nike, the Greek goddess of victory. Archaeologists also believe the tomb belonged to a wealthy family because of the high quality of the craftsmanship, hinting that those buried here may have been important figures in the community. Although the bones of those buried here had long turned to dust, their final resting place was remarkably intact. And experts hope to learn more about how people lived and died in Roman times by studying sites like this. But what exactly was in that mysterious jar? First, researchers scanned the outside of the urn to gain insight into its origins. It featured typical motifs from the Roman Empire, such as grapevines and scenes of daily life. Because the urn was covered in intricate designs, researchers knew whoever had commissioned it had likely been quite wealthy. But what was inside could prove even more valuable. Because the urn was covered in intricate designs, researchers knew whoever had commissioned it had likely been quite wealthy. But what was inside could prove even more valuable. After taking samples from both the urn and the mysterious liquid within, it was time for some careful excavation. After all, this was a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, potentially rewriting history books forever. With great care, researchers removed the lid of the jar and peered inside. They were ready for anything, but nothing could have prepared them for what they found. Instead of bones or other typical artifacts, there was a murky, brownish-red liquid. Made to make matters even stranger, it smelled strongly of alcohol. Researchers were immediately confused and unsure of what to do next. They decided to take a closer look and run some tests, but first needed to remove the liquid from the jar. This required a specialized vacuum pump to avoid disturbing the contents any more than necessary. The liquid was then transferred to a different container. It was so well preserved that its original color and texture remained intact after sitting for so long. From there, it was off to the lab, where researchers could finally start piecing together the mystery. So what exactly did they find? Let's take a closer look. Once in the lab, researchers carefully examined the contents of the jar. They wanted to determine if it was oil, or maybe rainwater that had accidentally leaked in over the years. But neither of these options made sense. There was also evidence of sediment, pointing to a much more interesting possibility. Experts were puzzled, unsure of what to make of the discovery. Nothing like this had ever turned up during excavations before. But after running several chemical tests, they finally got an answer. The liquid was most likely wine, specifically a type of white wine. And not only that, but it was incredibly old, dating back to the 1st century CE, meaning it was more than 2,000 years old. To confirm their suspicions, researchers took further samples from both the urn and its contents. They discovered that the vessel had once held a dry, acidic white wine similar to sherry, a fortified wine still popular in the region today. At the time, wine was commonly enjoyed throughout the Mediterranean, often mixed with water to dilute its strength. It was considered a staple of daily life, used not just for pleasure, but also for religious ceremonies. In fact, it played an important role in Roman funerary rituals. Wine was seen as a way to honor the dead and help guide their soul into the afterlife. But why was this particular bottle of wine so well preserved? After all, even unopened bottles of modern wine spoil eventually. Well, it turns out that the unique circumstances surrounding this burial may have helped preserve the wine for thousands of years. The urn was sealed tightly, meaning no air or bacteria could get in. Plus, it was buried underground, where temperatures remained consistent, making it a perfect candidate for long-term storage. So, just how old was the wine when it was discovered? Researchers estimate that it was between 1,900 and 2,000 years old. That is pretty impressive considering that most bottles of wine don't last more than a few decades without spoiling. But one question remains, was it actually safe to drink? Researchers decided to find out. They took a sample of the wine and sent it off to a lab for further analysis. After testing, it was determined that the wine was safe for consumption. And with the permission of authorities, a few brave scientists took a sip. So what did it taste like? According to reports, the wine was tangy and earthy, surprisingly drinkable for its age. Some compare the experience to opening a bottle of vintage champagne. The majority of the wine is now safely stored away, where it can continue to be studied by experts in the future. But a few bottles were set aside for special occasions. Occasionally, a small amount is poured to toast to the amazing discovery and those who made it possible. Now that we know a little more about the wine, let's take a moment to appreciate the place where it was found. The Roman city of Carmona was established around the year 200 BCE and served as an important military outpost for the empire. It's believed that Julius Caesar himself visited the city during his conquest of Gaul, during its heyday. Carmona was home to around 10,000 people who lived in houses similar to the one where the wine was discovered. As the years went on, the city's fortunes declined until it was eventually abandoned around the 8th century AD. Today, visitors can explore the ruins of Roman villas, aqueducts, and other structures that once made up the bustling metropolis. But what does the discovery of this ancient wine tell us about the Romans themselves? Well, for one thing, it shows that they took great care in planning their burials. The wealthy Romans spared no expense when laying their loved ones to rest. Often, entire rooms were filled with precious objects and artwork meant to honor the deceased. Secondly, it suggests that wine played an important role in their society. Not only was it enjoyed as a drink, but also used in religious ceremonies and as an offering to the gods. Finally, it gives us insight into how people lived during the Roman Empire. By studying everyday items like wine, we can gain a better understanding of life during this pivotal period in history. In conclusion, the discovery of the world's oldest wine was a remarkable event that has captured the attention of historians and archaeologists alike. The fact that such an ancient bottle of wine was found in such good condition is truly remarkable and provides us with a unique window into the past. From the meticulous care taken in preparing the wine to its use in funeral rituals, this discovery offers a wealth of information about Roman culture and society. Moreover, the excellent condition of the wine allows us to appreciate the quality and craftsmanship of Roman winemaking and the importance of wine in Roman culture. The discovery also highlights the rich history of winemaking in Spain, and the country's long tradition of producing high-quality wines. Whether you're a history buff or a wine enthusiast, the world's oldest wine is a fascinating discovery that is sure to captivate your imagination and leave you with a newfound appreciation for the past. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear what you think of the video and any suggestions you might have for future topics. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss any new videos. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.